Hello, Live, Run, Balance family. Welcome to another episode of the Live, Run, Balance show. I'm your host, your nephew, your cousin, your friend, and all of that, Kenneth Pinkney here. Today's guest is a young lady that truly inspired me on how she used her platform, her passion to serve others, to live out her purpose for something more than her. This young lady comes from Philly, or Philadelphia native. She's been most of her career live out her purpose, being a difference maker in her local running community. She was the co-founder, maybe still is the co-founder of Stride, an all-level running group. Former executive director of the Philly Stop Leaders, raised a massive amount of money into 100,000 in donation for underrepresented founders. Also, she oversaw marketing and communication effort reaching underrepresented groups in 3 U.S. cities, big time. You said she was born to lead, and that leading her to being the first executive director of RIDCO, aka running an industry diversity coalition. So I hope I got that right.
Yep.
So, family, let's welcome Miss Kiera Small to the Room Balance Show. How you doing?
I'm really quick. I'm doing really good. I'm really good. It's great to meet you. Great to finally meet you. And thanks for having me.
Absolutely, definitely. Great to have you on. I know you got a lot of stuff going on and just gonna do some big time stuff, so in the running community. So yeah, absolutely. So I like to start with the process, the journey. So so tell the family a little bit about your life growing up in the great city, Philly.
I always say the great city of Philadelphia, so I love that you said that. So, so yep, born and raised in the great city of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And a little bit about me, I grew up in uh, West Philadelphia. Just for
Okay.
anyone who knows
Yeah.
Philly, I'm gonna
Yeah.
give a little bit
Yeah.
specifics, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
grew up in West Philadelphia and I grew up as a kid who was really adventurous,
Yeah.
really outgoing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and really active. Not in the sports sense, but just likes to run around and have
Yeah.
fun
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like to keep herself busy. And I went to Philadelphia Public Schools,
Mhm.
and I I'm going to share this running connection because it's in hindsight, reflecting on it, it's pretty
Yeah.
funny
Yeah. Yeah.
and great and a connecting thread to how I got to where I am
Mhm.
today. But I was in a gym class in middle school, I believe,
Yeah.
and we had to run around.
Yeah.
They said, okay, next assignment, you run from here to there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was I was like, I'm not doing that. Like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also am a kid that grew up with asthma.
Oh,
And so
wow.
I really had no desire
I,
into,
I know.
wheezing and being out of breath.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so at first I was reluctant, but then I did it and I
Mhm.
loved it. I loved how
Yeah.
I felt. It was
Yeah.
short, right? So then it was
Yeah. Yeah.
over before I could really, complain.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I actually loved it. And for me, that was my
Yeah.
entry into running. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, like you can do this. You're capable of doing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And so I can't say that like then I went on to this, start running
Yeah.
in high
Yeah. Yeah.
school,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
didn't happen.
Yeah.
However, by the time I got to college and was there was like a 5K, and then there
Yeah.
were some more opportunities to start
Yeah.
running.
Yeah. Yeah.
I when I wanted to have a reason not to run, I
Yeah.
remembered when I was a little girl and I was able
Yeah.
to do it. So that's a little bit about my background in terms of how I got into running.
Okay
I
then.
then went off to Westchester University,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I studied criminal justice.
Oh, wow.
So I wanted to help youth
Mhm.
who just grew up in really
Yeah.
challenging environments and
Yeah.
circumstances,
Yeah.
where a lot of times I would hear people say, whether it was in my family or someplace else,
Mhm. Mhm.
I would hear people talk about youth like the youth is the problem, or there's so
Mhm.
many issues with them.
Mhm.
And I was more like, well, it's the behavior and
Mhm.
it's that can be changed, and
Mhm.
it's the environment. How
Yeah.
can we assess that and look into that a little bit more deeply
Yeah.
instead of just saying throw kids away and throw
Yeah.
away the
Yeah.
key?
Yeah.
And so I studied criminal justice.
Okay. Nice. Nice. Nice.
And then I did an internship,
Yeah.
and I was an intern for a social worker.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I can see myself as a social worker
Hmm. Hmm.
because that's just where my heart was at the time.
Yeah.
Then I did an internship, and that's the beauty of internships.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everybody do an
Y-
internship or encourage your
Yes.
child to do an internship because that taught me that that was not the path for me
Uh,
to make the impact I wanted to make. I
mm,
have so much respect
mm.
for social workers.
Yeah, I know.
But
Uh,
what I saw was this revolving door of just regardless of what happened with the families,
yeah.
depending on the systems that you had to
Yeah.
work within,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
may have to still move on to the next family, to the next
Yeah.
case.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wanted to figure out another way to make an impact for
Mm-hmm.
the youth who look like me or the
Mm.
communities,
Yeah.
like the communities I was
Yeah.
from.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I could relate yeah, sometimes you want to help, but you want to find a different way to help, and maybe the that certain job or whatever you're doing maybe not for you, but you're doing to find a way to help them out, someone, a particular group, wherever, Yeah, and just
Right.
yeah, definitely. So I can relate a little bit, to that, Yeah. Because being a social worker definitely is a tough job, Um, my wife, she done social work for years, that's another story, She would have enjoyed this, 'cause yeah. So, but
I
yeah,
have deep respect
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
I kudos. I tip my hat.
Yeah, so
Uh,
it's very, very stressful, even though you serving others, but just the
yeah,
man and just the thing you had to do and just the system and just all of that. No, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
So,
so it didn't take until later in life and later in my career
mhm.
to come up with my own personal mission. But
Okay.
and I'll share it in a second.
Yes,
But
definitely.
now that I have language for it, I would say
Yeah,
this was my intention at that time when I wanted
yeah,
to
yeah.
do criminal justice and do social work. My
Mhm.
personal mission is to connect available resources and
Yeah,
power to
yeah,
the people who need it most.
yeah.
And so in
Okay.
everything I do or everything I had sought out to do, it's like
Hmm.
how can well, is it what resource is it that this person or this community needs to
Hmm.
get to the next level or get to the next stage?
Okay.
And so that has been just the thread, no matter what industry or role that I've
Yeah.
taken up until my time to the RDC.
Okay then. So before we get into the RIDC a little bit, and so your previous job, your leadership roles, different places I mentioned earlier, uh, was running a factor and them and that was a platform for you to use, or that started you know with RIDC.
Say that one more time.
So was running was a platform for you to lead in the other previous jobs you had, like being a co-founder. Well, I guess what could you co-founder at Stride? That was running, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you the journey. I'll tell you how I got there.
Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. Tell
So
me about
let's
it.
say this is mile marker 2 or 3, right?
Yes, yeah.
So when I was in college, I did a 5K. I
Yeah.
don't even ask what shoes I was in. I don't even know. I don't even know. There's so
Oh,
much I know now
I
that I
know, I
didn't know back
know.
then.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
So I ran a 5K and that was great. And so I would do
Yeah,
a little bit of like running on the treadmill. I
yeah,
never thought about signing up for races at that
yeah,
time, but
yeah,
it was just running for leisure and
yeah,
just like,
yeah,
for stress reliever.
yeah,
And then after college, a few years after college, a very close friend of mine said, "Hey, will you run this half marathon?" And
yeah.
I was like, I've only, ran
Yeah,
5K or,
yeah,
just a few miles. So I didn't think it was possible. But I said,
yeah,
well, if you made it through your 5Ks, you can
yeah.
make it through a training and a half
Yeah.
marathon. And
Hmm.
so we had at the time already had strides, but we were only
Yeah.
doing strength training type workouts. We weren't
Yeah.
doing like running at the time.
Okay.
So we signed up to do the half marathon, a Philly half marathon,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. And
Yeah.
then my friend got the bug to, we should create a run club.
Yeah.
And again, at that time, I was like, you go do that. I'm kind of one and done
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
I
yeah,
see the
yeah,
hype. I'm gonna stay in
yeah,
the
yeah.
lifting weights category.
Okay,
And
okay.
so when she launched our run club, and
Yeah.
it was the same day that I was hosting a strength workout,
Okay.
and our groups had met, kind of in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
middle of the city.
yeah,
And that was the thing that clicked for me. I said,
yeah,
wow, people have shown up to run with
yeah,
us.
yeah,
They want to work out with us. They want to
yeah.
build
Mm-hmm.
friendships and make
Mm-hmm.
connection.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I was like, okay, let's add a run club. And then it
Okay.
just the rest is history from
Yeah.
there. It just
Awesome.
years of running,
Yeah.
friendships,
Yes.
weddings,
Yes. Yes.
new babies. It was just
Yes.
so
Yeah.
much that has happened
Yeah.
through creating a run club with Strides.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what like our run club, family, community, it just yeah, yeah, just have a good time, Yeah, laughing,
Yeah,
crying, tears, all that, so yeah,
all the above.
all the
All the
above.
above.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So to get to RIDC, tell the family about your journey becoming the first executive director RDC, running industry diversity coalition, and why you decided to take on that role.
That's a great question. So at that time when we launched the Run Club
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
had
yeah.
our community, I took on a role for our bike share system in our
Yeah.
city. So
Mm-hmm.
it's called Indigo Bike Share.
Yeah, Indigo Bike Share.
And they actually said, hey, we're launching bike share in our city. We see
Mm.
what you're doing with Strides. It was called City Fit Girls at the time.
Yeah.
We see what you're doing with your own community. Can you come help us launch and lead our marketing communications efforts?
Mm-hmm.
So then I spend the next 3 years on a bike, convincing Black and brown folks to get on a bike.
Yeah, yeah.
And we received incredible funding from the
Wow.
JPB Foundation and some other
Yeah.
grants
Mm.
to help make sure that bike share was accessible to everyone,
Okay.
to neighborhoods, to more neighborhoods
Mm.
beyond just your downtown,
Yeah.
center city.
Yeah.
That funding helped us with marketing campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
It helped us host focus groups.
Mm-hmm.
We could assume what
Yeah.
would make someone want to ride the bikes,
Yeah. Yeah.
but to the ability to do focus groups and hear Black and brown folks go, hey, we want to see riders with helmets with
Yeah.
weave in their
Yeah.
hair. We want to see riders of different,
Yeah.
weight.
Yeah.
We want to
Yeah.
see the visuals of where they're riding. We don't just want it to
Yeah.
be pretty parks. We want it to be in
Yeah.
front of the Chinese store, or some
Yeah.
people call it the poppy store.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that experience for me was, this is my personal mission. Like, okay,
Yeah.
so there are these funds
Mm-hmm.
that can help us bridge
Yeah.
gaps
Yeah.
to help create more resource and access
Yeah.
for communities that we want to serve.
Yeah.
And that for me was my angle, no matter the industry or the
Mm-hmm.
role.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that work led me into the tech industry,
Okay.
which you had mentioned, Philly Startup Leaders.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was leading this nonprofit organization.
Mm-hmm.
We were helping build scalable startups in the
Yeah.
city.
Yeah.
And we were able to see the different startups that
Mm.
were growing. They had
Yeah.
access to
Yeah.
mentorship. They
Yeah.
had access to funding.
Yeah.
A lot of them had access to family and friends rounds to
Mm-hmm.
support their startups.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go, okay, in the city of Philadelphia, majority BIPOC city,
Mm-hmm.
how can we make sure more BIPOC people are benefiting
Yeah.
from our programs and from our offerings? And
Yeah.
so I had this wild idea,
Yeah.
like, can we be their family and friends round?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't, you might not be able to ask somebody in your family for $20,000,
Yeah. Yeah.
but with the support of some of our stakeholders, whether it was the city of
Yeah.
Philadelphia or some other funds
Yeah.
and some other like larger
Yeah.
startups,
Yeah.
with their help, can we help offer grants? We won't take equity. We
Mm-hmm.
won't have you go through hoops and loops.
Yeah.
We want to help you before that. Can you even
Yeah.
test out this idea?
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
make it possible?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we help you even just get the opportunity to build
Yeah.
and fail?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I did that work for a few years as well. And
Mm-hmm.
then I also did some work with Johnson and Johnson.
Oh
So
wow. That's
they
nice.
launched a health equity and
Yeah.
innovation challenge
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
fund solutions
Yeah.
across the country
Yeah.
that will positively impact Black and Hispanic communities.
That's beautiful.
And the first round we did that, it was fantastic. So
Yeah, yeah,
again, connecting
yeah,
resources
yeah,
to the
yeah,
groups that needed the most.
yeah, yeah.
And then I took a career sabbatical. And so then I said, I need a
Okay,
break. I
okay.
said, I need to. This was the pandemic happened. It
Yeah,
was just
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so much for all of us,
yeah.
right? And I said,
Absolutely,
I need
absolutely.
to take a break. If I'm
Yeah.
going to do this work for the long term, I
Hmm.
need to take a break. And so
Yeah.
I took
Yeah.
it was supposed to be 2 months,
Mhm.
but I was fortunate enough to make it 7 months.
Oh,
And it
nice.
just gave me space to
Yeah.
work on myself,
Oh, that's
to
good.
host. Actually, I became a certified yoga teacher. I was
Oh,
hosting meditations,
oh,
trying to
wow.
help other people throughout the pandemic.
Oh, that's great.
And then this opportunity came up, and it
Yeah.
was the RIDC
Yeah.
is looking for their first executive
Yeah.
director.
Yeah. Yeah.
And couple of things I said, this wouldn't be my first time,
Yeah. Yeah.
being like an
Hmm.
inaugural executive director.
Hmm.
This mission and the work that they're trying to do
Hmm.
ties perfectly to my personal mission.
Hmm.
And the original founders, they were people I already knew. One, Allison Mariella
Hmm.
Desir.
Hmm.
I knew of her and
Hmm.
the work that she's done.
Yeah.
And then I got to look into some of the other founding members.
Hmm.
And I just thought, I was like, who wouldn't want to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
part of this
Yeah.
organization to
Yeah.
help get
Yeah.
their ideas
Yeah.
materialized?
Yeah. Oh man, that's wonderful, you know. Hear your story of that becoming the first executive director, and just also how you got a community, how you get able to get grants and stuff to help with your purpose, you know. Yeah, yeah. So definitely, you know, as I tend to look into that myself a little bit more, the things I want to do and pursue, you know, with the
Yeah.
platform of running. And so, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And I
definitely.
would tell you, now it kind of sounds consistent and threaded,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
throughout it was
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
was a lot of trial and error.
yeah,
It was a
yeah,
lot of
yeah, yeah,
just testing things out. It was a lot
yeah,
of,
yeah, yeah,
what do I wish I had when I was
yeah,
growing up, or what do I
yeah,
wish my parents and my grandparents
yeah,
had access to?
yeah,
It was a lot of getting to know new people, brilliant
yeah,
people, and what
yeah,
they were
yeah,
trying to accomplish.
yeah, yeah,
And it went from enjoying running for
yeah,
fun to,
yeah.
wow, running can change lives for the
Yeah,
better.
yeah, and it kind of think about that. I think about that a lot too. You know, that's the past few years for running and how it transformed for me the past few year. Basically, COVID. You know, talk about COVID, and like all the people impacted in a negative way during the COVID. But COVID for me would turn out it opened doors, opportunity for running. And what I thought it would live around balance, you know, on my platform, you know, on the website, storytelling, sharing people's stories, you know, and stuff like that. You know, it just yeah, it's really show me the possibility of what running could be, you know. And I kind of like think about it. Cause you really knew somebody running to really to make an impact or do something. Yeah, 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 definitely, you know. Yeah, so yeah, I
That's
know.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, definitely. So it's been good, you know. Your story, how you use some rental platform to make a difference, you know. Also, um, and talk about some of the trials and errors, you know. What are some of the obstacles you had to face in your journey in life to become the woman, the leader you are today?
Oh, I love that question. Some of the challenges, I mean, I sometimes you hear people outside of Philly talk about
Mm,
Philly, and
yeah.
sometimes people don't have something nice to say.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stick beside my city now,
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
I grew up in a city that had a lot of challenges, has a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
All right, so I grew up in a household and an environment that has poverty. There was a lot going on. There was
Mhm,
a lot of scarcity.
mhm,
There was a lot of, you figure it out as you go along.
mhm,
And so there's that
mhm.
aspect, that I'm sure impacted my health,
Yeah,
impacted, some of my thoughts, how I viewed the world,
yeah.
how I thought the world saw me.
Yeah,
And so there's a lot of that
yeah,
to work through and to still work through, you know.
yeah.
I'm coming up on, what, 6 years of
Yeah.
therapy,
Oh, wow.
and that journey has helped me do a lot
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
revisiting the
yeah,
childhood and connecting it to where I
yeah.
am now, and
Hmm.
reminding myself of that journey and being proud of myself, to
Yeah,
get to where I am today.
yeah,
And I would say that journey also included, I had a lot of support. I had a lot of support.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, might not have been maybe the best support, or
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
support you wish you had, but
Mm,
I can count on in my childhood I can count on family,
yeah,
people in my school,
yeah.
different programs and
Mm,
resources that I was
mm,
able to be part of and take
mm,
advantage of
mm,
to help me.
mm.
And then I would say another thing is, I mean, being a Black person in America,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know, Black
yeah,
woman,
yeah.
uh, being someone that started working as soon as she was legal enough to work, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All of that comes with its stresses, its
Mhm.
challenges,
Yeah, yeah,
burdens,
yeah,
burnout.
yeah,
And so when I say that during the pandemic, I became a certified yoga teacher and a
uh,
meditation teacher, it
uh,
was to help others, but to
yeah,
also
yeah.
continue
Help
to
you.
help and heal myself
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that was
Mhm.
good meditation yoga. I tried yoga one time, but I didn't went back no more. But yeah, but I believe it gives me. I believe good meditation. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot. So going therapy, you hear people talk about going therapy a lot. Something that a lot of people probably don't really haven't done in the past. But
And
going.
yeah.
Yeah,
And there's a lot more resources too, whether
yeah,
like
yeah,
free
yeah,
sessions or
yeah,
sliding scale,
yeah.
or some additional resources maybe on like YouTube or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
There's a lot more accessible resources these days
yeah.
as it relates to talk therapy, which is great.
Hmm.
And so those were a lot of like the personal challenges, but
Hmm.
personal challenges show up professionally too. So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
you know, being in conversations
Yeah,
where you're not the person with the power, you're talking
uh,
to the people with
yeah,
the power,
yeah,
but you're like, I have to say something because this impacts the communities we are
yeah, yeah,
serving. This
yeah,
impacts the community I'm
yeah,
part of. I have to get the courage to
yeah,
say something,
mm,
to, and not be afraid of what's going to come, because
yeah,
it's more important to use my
yeah,
voice than to silence it, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
navigating some of those aspects.
yeah,
And when we fast forward to RIDC, when you
yeah,
think about challenges,
yeah,
RIDC started in 2020,
yeah. Talk
right?
about
So
it. Yeah,
it
yeah,
started in a year, right? Ahmaud Arbery is murdered while he's
yeah,
on his
yeah,
run.
yeah,
George
yeah,
Floyd, Breonna
mm,
Taylor. I mean, so
yeah,
many names we know and don't know.
yeah, yeah,
And for 2020 to be called the reckoning year, and
mm,
there was so much that took place that year,
mm,
and it was great to see, the leaders that came
mm,
together to
yeah.
create the RIDC.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's why it's great to have the coalition in its name, because
Yeah, yeah.
it's going to take all of us,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
to reach racial justice, to improve the
Mm,
inclusion, visibility, and
mm,
access
mm,
for Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. It takes all
mm.
of us. And so in 2020, when all of that is happening,
Yeah, yeah,
meanwhile, Black people, people of color,
yeah, yeah,
we're trying to heal, but also
yeah,
fight. And
yeah,
also it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
that's a lot. That's a lot
Mm,
to take on and to
mm,
navigate.
mm.
But I'm excited, heading
Yeah.
into 2024
Yes.
to go. RIDC started in 2020. The
Hmm.
founding team did a fantastic job to meet
Yeah.
with so many people
Yeah.
during the height of all of that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and to say, okay, let's do something together
Okay.
next.
Hmm.
And RIDC forms, hires the first executive director. We have a
Yeah.
team in place.
Yeah.
We have dozens of organizations working with us.
Okay.
We have thousands in the
Yeah.
community
Yeah.
who are either people of color,
Yes.
we're providing solidarity,
Hmm.
community,
Hmm.
amplifying the work that they're doing,
Yeah.
amplifying the jobs that they're taking on, the races they're doing,
Hmm.
the impact they're
Hmm.
having in their
Yeah.
communities,
Yeah.
and also white individuals who are
Yeah.
learning and
Oh, that's
unlearning
great.
and trying to have the hard conversations with
Yeah.
themselves and
Yeah.
with their loved ones or
Hmm.
with their colleagues.
Hmm.
And so 4 years in, when the conversation of, what are companies doing? Are they
Hmm.
still committed to what they
Hmm.
said in
Hmm.
2020?
Hmm.
Here at the RIDC, we say yes, and
Okay.
we see it.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is because we're holding them accountable.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So, what does it mean for you, the rest of the team of RIDC, the BIPOC running community, that's to have the backing to support all the different organizations and different companies, to support? What does it mean uh, for you?
It means a lot, and it means that we're in this together. and
Yeah.
that the weight is not just on our shoulders because it
Yeah.
can't be.
Yeah.
So when we, recently announced Run the Block program, where
Mhm.
Brooks committed $200,000
Nice.
to help us fund a new Black-owned retail running shop in the
Yeah.
US.
Okay.
That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's huge. And
Yes.
they were one of the first companies to join the RIDC. And here
Mm.
we are heading into year 4, and we're
Yeah.
taking that relationship to its next level.
Mm.
And we have some really good examples
Mm.
of companies who have joined us in the beginning and
Mm.
they just continue to evolve our relationships, or
Yeah.
companies who may have
Yeah.
not joined us in the beginning
Mhm.
and now they see the organization and what it's been able to
Yeah.
do. They
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
the consistency, the growth, and the impact that it has on their company and their
Yeah. Yeah.
employees.
Yeah.
And then, now they're joining. And
Okay.
so
Yeah. Nice.
we see the energy, but again, a big part of
Yeah.
that is because
Yeah.
we're creating it and
Yeah.
maintaining it.
Yes. So could you name some of the highlights of RDC, things you have accomplished, things they have done or doing right now?
Yeah, so I'll work backwards, and I know my cat would like to now be in this
Okay, sure.
conversation.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's
Her
all
name
good.
is Nola. She
All
named
right.
after New Orleans.
Oh, really? Why you always
Yeah.
like why you
Um,
name that New Orleans? Why is that? What's that?
it's my second favorite city.
Oh, okay.
My second favorite city.
Okay, okay, that's cool. That's cool.
So I'll start from now and work
Yeah.
backwards a little bit.
Yes.
A really big highlight right now is Run the Block, right?
Okay.
Applications are open until
Okay.
mid-May,
Okay.
and we are looking to open a Black-owned retail shop in the US
Mhm.
next year.
Yeah.
And so we're super excited about that.
Nice.
And coming from the tech industry where entrepreneurs, they always have their pitch deck ready, they're always talking to investors, they're always
Yeah.
trying to, do something like this. That's not the case in the running industry, right? This is
Yeah.
very new. And so
Yeah.
we're excited to bring some of that energy from like the tech startup space into the running space for the communities we serve.
Okay.
And then research. We last summer, in honor of Juneteenth, we released 3 baseline research studies. And our goal there is, okay, we really need to know where we are in order to know
Yeah.
where we're going.
Yeah.
And we want to have the conversations. We want to hold folks accountable. We want to highlight the progress that's being made, and we want to have some data as well. And
Okay.
so the 3 that we released, one centers on the business of running. And so we looked at, okay, what's the makeup of employment in our industry, ownership and employment in our industry, and what are some of the connections to the data that we see companies collecting to what is not being collected, but we need to collect,
Okay.
what the US Census data has as well. And is there a way that we can, at least say, how do we have our companies mirror what the US Census is in terms of BIPOC data, for example?
Okay.
And we also have one that's like around the underrepresented BIPOC experience on the trails and with product.
Yeah.
And so this one was more qualitative, and we did more focus groups, and we were able to have some really honest conversations about what groups want to see, what they don't want to see, what products they love, what products, really capture their attention more from the footwear and apparel as well.
Yeah.
And then we also have the third one is on the future of running. So when I mentioned US data, we're looking at the US consensus, and it's saying, by 2045, the US will be majority BIPOC. Okay, running industry. How do we account for that? How do we plan for that? How do we make sure we're still relevant as this change happens in this country? So that's a huge milestone for us. And that's what everybody sees. But what I'm also really proud of is the work to get to that point. So many businesses and individuals, joined us to get this research together and get it done. Took a lot of work with RIDC and Bentley University to make this happen. And I'm super proud of it. It was the first kind of vision highlight from the founding board. And so we look forward to doing more research in the future as well.
Okay.
And I mean, the third and final one is stability and growth for the organization, right? We're a nonprofit, we're a 501c3 organization. We have a full team in place. We have a board of 10. We have incredible relationships, incredible partnerships.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
making incredible impact, having
yeah.
scholarships to send BIPOC
Nice.
employees and
Oh man.
owners to trade shows like TRE.
Yeah.
Uh, just so many things. We're
Oh,
so
that's
excited.
beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm
Yeah.
excited. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
I'm trying to contain my excitement how much the organization has evolved and grown since 2020.
Yeah, definitely. Just showing what was possible. And just again, the amazement of using the platform as running as a tool to do good. To be out in the community. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
definitely. So, you're an avid trail runner. So you like running the trails yourself, huh? Like, yeah, yeah.
I do. I'm a both road. I'm a trail road,
Oh, sure, Ron, you both.
treadmill, track. I'm all
Check
the
okay.
above.
Okay, all above. Okay, yeah, because I'm more I'm leaning toward I do rules also, but I really love the trails. Basically out here, beautiful San Diego area now. So I love the trail, I love the
I
mountains
was
now.
just in San Diego last week. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Oh snap. Y'all have a beautiful city. And we met up with Milestone Running. We went to Milestone
oh,
Running to
oh.
visit
Which one? Which location? Which location?
North Park, if I'm
Yeah,
remembering that correctly.
yeah, yeah.
Were you there?
No, I'm not about always. I know them. My good friend. Got to build a relationship. And another story. I got my book. I just read some book, and my book is inside the story. So I just.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Craig, and all that. All them.
Yeah, Greg, yeah, they're great. The
Yeah,
store is
yeah,
great. Yeah,
yeah. I got a
I'm
great
excited
relate.
to come back.
Yeah, definitely. I got a great relationship throughout the years. Just being in the running community and just the connection that we have. So yeah, yeah. Oh,
That's
okay.
awesome.
How small the world? How small the
Yeah,
world is? No.
beautiful city.
Yeah, definitely. You got to come back. Yes, absolutely. Um, oh yeah, the community. I want to get to. What does the community or runners mean to you, and how have the running community inspired you? Yeah.
Yeah, it, what does it mean and how has it inspired me? I think, I think I love that question and
Yeah.
I'm probably getting more personal,
No worries. Yeah,
but I also see it in other people, right? What I'm
yeah,
about to say, I see it, I saw it in my run crews and the people
yeah,
that showed up and the connections that were
yeah,
being made.
yeah,
And I see it in RIDC when I see coalition, people who are part
yeah,
of the organization
yeah,
who see themselves through the work that we're doing. And family and connection, like that comes to me for
yeah,
running.
yeah,
I see when people line up to go to the start line of a
yeah,
race,
yeah.
and you have so many support systems around you,
Mhm.
from who's behind the scenes, making sure you have a great, safe experience,
Yeah,
who's on the sideline is cheering you on, even if they don't know your name,
yeah.
and then who's at the finish line to acknowledge you and to be
Mhm.
there for you and to reward you.
Mhm.
And all of that for me, like it reminds me of family, like what
Yeah,
family is or what
yeah,
family could be, and just that full total support.
mhm.
That's just what I see and what I think
Yeah.
of
Okay,
when I think of running. I think
yeah,
of in our running community,
yeah,
it's how can we be there for each other,
yeah,
support each other
yeah,
together.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
we, in some instances, we're not doing that when it
Mm,
comes to racial justice, when it comes
mm,
to privilege, when it comes to
mm,
access, when
mm,
it comes to inclusion. And so we need to keep
mm,
looking at ourselves, keep holding ourselves accountable.
mm. Yeah, definitely. Okay, I love that.
That was a
Um,
great question.
Thank you. Yeah. So I take it who inspire you. So who your inspiration? Who your inspiration?
Oh, my grandmother, and I might get teary-eyed
No
because
worry, get teary-eyed.
my grandmother recently passed away.
Yeah.
But my grandmother, Geneva Josie, she passed
Yeah.
at 93 years old. That
Wow.
mean I got a good amount of time with her to
Yeah.
see her, to learn from her.
Yeah.
And this woman has given me the strength,
Yeah.
the resolve,
Yeah.
the patience
Yeah.
that I need for this role, and to
Yeah.
show up
Yeah.
for my community and for my family.
That's
So
cool.
I definitely carry her with me, and I carry
Awesome.
her just her
Yeah.
love, her
Yeah.
warmth,
Yeah.
her respect for other people, her patience with other people, her
Yeah.
curiosity for other
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
and her hard work, her
Mm.
dedication. I
Yeah.
mean, I know we might all have so much long list of
Yeah.
things to
Yeah.
say about
Yeah.
our grandmother,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
she's absolutely shaped me into the woman I am and the leader I am today.
Oh, that's beautiful, grandma. I don't like your grandma, you know. So
Yeah.
I will bless had the privilege to have his like three grandmas and a couple of great grandmas, you know. So
Oh, I love that. I love that.
yeah. So definitely, definitely. I can relate. So we're gonna go back to being the first, to be the first executive director. So do you tend to reflect on that, you know, becoming the first executive director? Just to be the first at anything, you know, but to be the first at that, you know, what do you I mean, what you think about that, you know, you reflect on that, you know?
Whew. I just celebrated 2 years in this role.
Yeah.
And I this is my first time doing the executive director role at the national level.
Mhm.
So I tell you, the first couple of months, I was trying to get time zones right.
Uh,
I was trying to like, how do I make sure I talk to this person?
I
You
know.
know,
Like today.
no, but seriously,
Yeah,
I do not take it for granted. I take that the role of like in being like the inaugural position, like that
yeah.
first person to
Mm.
help shape what could be, to help shape if it'll be here, if this will be here or not. I
Yeah.
don't take that lightly at all. I take it very seriously. It's a big responsibility.
Mhm.
And reflecting on it, I'm excited. I'm excited
Yeah.
because again, it started in 2020 at a
Yeah.
very specific time in our
Yeah.
country's history.
I know. Yeah.
And to be here now in 2024 and
Mm.
go, we are growing, we are thriving, we are
Yeah.
stable,
Yeah.
and we continue to do the work and service of our mission.
Mhm.
That for me is success.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep making sure I can keep saying that.
That's cool. Love it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you
So,
for that.
yeah,
It
no.
is hard. And
Yeah.
I would one more thing I would add is
Yeah.
I'm the first, but I'm not alone,
I know. Yeah. Okay.
right?
Okay. Take a team. That's team. Yeah.
I got a solid board behind me.
That's awesome.
I got a
Yeah.
solid team in front of
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
and we have a very strong coalition around
Yeah,
us.
that's awesome. Yeah, definitely. You know, you got to have a guy, have a team. You know, to support your team to make it happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. On the Navy and the military. You know, like I'm in the Navy, so yeah, you got the captain, you got the admiral, but like it wouldn't be done without the rest of the sailors, whoever. Right there. You know, so yeah. So definitely take a team. Yeah, you got the star quarterback. You know. Well, we got to have that team now. Yeah, so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Absolutely.
They got LeBron James, but you don't have the right team.
Yeah.
We're good.
I mean, Allison Felix, the
Yeah,
JUS team had some other power players on there too to
yeah,
help us, right?
There you go, there you go. So it's cool, you know. It's cool that being the first, you know, having be surrounded by great people, you know, that to help you, lead the way. So absolutely.
Thank you so
So
much.
absolutely. So. Okay, your greatest joy. I know that's a big question. Your greatest joy so far, in your journey in life and running. You probably already talk about it already. But wait, you trying to think about that, your greatest joy so far. The party.
Yeah. Professionally,
Yeah,
my greatest joy, they happen more often than not, like than once. And I
yeah.
get deep joy when I see a BIPOC person has a job because of the organization, a contract because
Yeah,
of the organization,
yeah,
is now running with a family member or reconnecting with a loved one because of our organization.
yeah,
That brings me deep joy because it is in service of this mission that is just
yeah.
it's a great mission to serve. And so that brings me deep joy. I would say professionally and personally,
Yeah.
the running, like the reaching milestones,
Yeah.
whether you sign up for a race
Yeah. Yeah.
or whether you just do it on your own.
Hmm.
Again, I said I was someone, I have asthma.
Yeah.
And I used to be
Yeah.
in the hospital all the time as a
Wow.
kid.
Mm.
And to now not have to do that and
I
to go
know.
from 5Ks
Yeah.
to all the way to the marathon,
Yeah.
that brings me deep joy. And to see other
Yeah.
people do it too. I did it
Yeah.
because I saw other people do it.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
to see other people do it and then to
Mm.
be one of the reasons that more people get to hear and see
Yeah.
examples of what they could be,
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
brings
Yeah.
me deep joy.
Yeah. The death, I love it too. The seal, to know what's possible, and just also you see other people doing, and just yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So okay, here we goes. Could this live room boundless? So what is your boundless motivation and thoughts?
Is this how you wrap up?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
love it. I love it.
yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Okay.
So you said this is boundless. And so what is my boundless?
Yeah, motivation and thoughts.
Boundless motivation.
Yeah.
I remind myself that you can begin again, like you can begin again at any time.
Okay. Okay.
You can
Yeah.
begin again at any time.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, I, I remind myself of that because if I'm
Yes.
having a hard day, if I mess up, if we
Mm.
made a mistake,
Mm-hmm.
if 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 something tragic happens in this country
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that need to take a moment to
Mm-hmm.
reflect and to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
take care of ourselves, I think it's okay. You can begin again,
To
you know?
begin again. Yeah.
Or took a break from running races.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I'm back to signing up to races because it's okay. I
Yeah.
can begin again.
I begin again. Oh man,
Yeah,
that speak right to me this moment, we're at the process, the journey, we're running, has some little stuff going on the past few months with health, but just start the process all over again. Seem like, yeah, but know that you could do over again. Start
yeah.
back,
You
Yeah,
can begin
yeah.
again.
And you
Yeah.
can begin again. Well, I love that. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, but before we end, do you have any last minute thing you want to share that I didn't ask, however, you know?
I just love for people to stay tuned and stay connected with the RIDC.
Yeah,
We have a monthly newsletter that we send out that has
yeah,
tons of resources,
yeah,
information,
yeah,
articles, not
yeah,
just what's happening with the RIDC, but the
yeah,
running industry in
yeah.
general.
Okay.
And for anyone who's on social media, we're pretty active on Instagram
Yeah, yes, yeah,
and Facebook at Running
yeah,
Diversity,
yeah, yeah.
LinkedIn,
Yes,
with
yes.
the organization's name spelled out. And
Mm,
so just stay connected with us, stay
mm,
updated, and stay
mm,
involved.
mm.
And we're excited to keep sharing, what we're doing next in service
Yeah,
of the RIDC mission.
cool, love it. So thank you for that. Now, thank you to Kiera for joining the Level
Thank
One
you
Bounce
for
family.
having me. Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So time to make it, and get out the time right, get the schedule right,
We did
but
it.
yeah, we did it. Thank you to you, thank you to your team, for just for allowing me to give me an opportunity to do this, Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so definitely, and hope we could do it again. Hopefully in person, meet you in
Oh
person.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. We got to talk in person.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And also, I want to say thank you for the Live Run Boundless family for joining me for another episode of the Live Run Boundless show, living a life beyond the boundary you set on yourself. And thank you for Miss Kiera for being boundless, her just to her career, her life, and she thinks she's doing, in the running industry, the BIPOC community and to try to make an impact and overcome the obstacle, from asthma into things you're doing now for RIDC. Keep it going and stay balanced. Until next time, family.
Thank you. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for seeing us, and we see you.
Yes, yes, definitely. Cool.